This week's best MMA bets. We're talking UFC 280 Oliveira versus Makhachev. We're going to do the full card betting breakdown. We'll talk most confident picks, the lock of the week, my favorite underdogs, props, and we'll finish it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. Let's jump to the most confident picks section to start things off. First of the most confident picks, I'm going to ride with Manon Fiorot to beat Katlyn Chookagian. Fiorot right now sitting at minus 220. I'd call her a pretty high confident pick here. Fiorot, I just really think is that prospect to keep the eye on. I feel as though she's trending upward, getting better and better each time out, and I really feel her style matches up well with Chookagian. We've seen Chookagian struggle with throws in the past. Fiorot has a really nice throw. Chookagian known for being able to manage range well, and she's a lot longer than the vast majority of girls at 125 pounds. Fiorot is incredible from distance. She has great side kicks. I see her winning the fight here. I like her by decision. Line for that is plus 105. For inside the distance, this reason I bring this up, it's plus 325. Fiorot is saying she wants to finish here. It's a very juicy tag at plus 325, but realistic outcome to me, I think we're going the full 3 rounds, and I think Manon Fiorot takes it on the cards, plus 105 for that decision. She's not a bad money line play either at minus 220, and stay tuned for the parlays. You might see that Fiorot name on some of them. Let's keep running with more. The next of the most confident picks, it's going to be Muhammad Mokaev. It's an extremely confident pick. It's minus 1,400 though. The line's disgusting. It is what I'd call a shit bet, but it is extreme confidence. I would say he's definitely got this fight in the bag over Malcolm Gordon. Under 2.5 rounds, I think is very likely. That is going to be your best bet for this matchup. It's at minus 200. I say Mokaev by submission. Also a decent idea, plus 130. I see him getting it done in the second round over Malcolm Gordon. I think he has a big advantage in the wrestling. Yes, Malcolm Gordon is a jiu-jitsu black belt, but the grappling skills to me are very different. I prefer the very top-heavy pressure wrestling style of Muhammad Mokaev. I think he's a real prospect. I think you're looking at a guy that's actually a future contender at 125 pounds and maybe even a champion sometime in the next 2 or 3 years. Super young too, only 22 years of age, getting better and better each time out. I can't wait to see him again here in Abu Dhabi too. This is going to be a great opportunity for him. I think he's going to look awesome. I think he looks dominant. Muhammad Mokaev, extreme confidence, but money line is a shit bet, so you're probably looking towards the prop side of things. Next of the most confident picks, Aljamain Sterling over TJ Dillashaw. Sterling is sitting at minus 180. He's in his absolute prime right now. His physical form is incredible. He's got awesome wrestling, excellent Brazilian jiu-jitsu, rangy kickboxing style. He's very quick and athletic. TJ Dillashaw brings that pressure fighting style. He closes the gap well. He's going to start really fast too. I think Sterling will actually be able to keep distance fairly well here. I do see Dillashaw closing that gap, but I could actually see Sterling clinching up with Dillashaw and having the advantage there. I could see TJ Dillashaw backed up against the cage. I could see Sterling actually looking to climb the back against the cage. Don't be surprised if Sterling lands takedowns in this fight. Now, my official prediction is going to be Aljamain Sterling to take this one on the cards. I think he beats TJ by a decision. Plus 115 for that decision line. But we have to acknowledge the high-level submission skill set, and there's always a possibility there. And I love the number of the sub line. It's plus 420. So if you're thinking about maybe propping something up, plus 420, it's a savage line. It's a beautiful number. And I think that Aljamain Sterling by submission as a Hail Mary is a possibility. Light play. We're not going hard at that one if you're throwing money down on it. I'd say keep it on the lighter side because more than likely it's going to be a decision. But the money line sign of Sterling is very good. I like him to win. I'm very confident he does it. He's going to beat TJ Dillashaw in an exciting matchup. I think the CEO of EPO is beaten here. Legitimate win against him now at bantamweight because I guess technically speaking, he hasn't had that loss at bantamweight in a very long time. And, you know, previously the champion there before the drop to 125 pounds, which ended up with his belt getting stripped because of the suspension. Sterling, very confident pick. Next of the confident picks, Corral Rosa. I would say she's a very high confident pick. Minus 335. It's an ugly line. The over 2.5 is okay. It's minus 275. I think it's very likely. Rosa by decision, minus 105. It's not a great prop, but I do think she's going to win this fight over Lena Landsberg by a decision. Karol Rosa has some clear advantages as far as striking goes. She's the younger girl. I think she has the takedown defense. Landsberg is sloppier on the feet. She's just looking to close the gap and wrestle, whereas Rosa can kickbox well. And I really think that she's going to be able to match the grappling here. I like Rosa's chances. I think it's a high confidence play. It's just a very wide minus 335 tag, more of the parlay piece, but ultimately still playable for some. The decision prop at minus 105 is not a terrible idea. Not my favorite of the bets, but I do think it's high likelihood that she does win a decision. Unfortunately, right, if you play that decision and then she ends up getting the TKO or the submission, you're going to be pissed. But more than likely, that decision is what's going to come through. I'm riding with Rosa to win. Straight money line, minus 335. Keep an eye out for the parlays. That's where I think it's going to have its best place. Now, let's talk lock of the week. I am going to stir things up with the lock of the week. I'm telling you, half of you are going to love it. Half of you are going to hate it. Islam Makhachev. Lock of the week, minus 160. I'm saying he's beaten Charles Oliveira with high confidence. Weeks ago, I was very torn between these two. The more I study on this matchup, I'm seeing Makhachev's ability. Even just watching Makhachev train, the way he's hitting pads, his crispness of his kicks as well. I think Islam Makhachev is a serious problem for Charles Oliveira, and I actually think you're going to be surprised at his striking ability in this fight. Southpaw stance, Oliveira struggles with overhand lefts. Makhachev has a mean overhand left. Makhachev, very high-level wrestling. Oliveira, I think, is going to struggle with the top pressure. I see Oliveira starting to weather and get tired as Makhachev, really, if he does get on top, wears on him. I see Oliveira throwing up a lot of sub attempts but being unsuccessful. I can see him gassing, even shooting for a guillotine on a takedown attempt. I like Makhachev to win. Money line, minus 160. I think it's a great play. I think we're going over a round and a half. Minus 150 for that one. Decent line. Sub prop, plus 225. I think Makhachev is intending on submitting Oliveira to prove a point. He wants to tap out the submission leader in the UFC to show he has the best grappling in the lightweight division. Big opportunity to do so here. KO TKO, which was the pick. I was really thinking ground and pound. That's plus 400, so the line is juicier on KO TKO, but keep in mind, I think Makhachev wants to put a stamp on it winning by submission, but the KO TKO prop is very good. Inside of the distance, keep it on the safer side. It brings you to minus 105. Still okay value. I prefer money line over the minus 105 because there is a real possibility Makhachev grinds towards a decision win. We can't count that possibility out. Islam Makhachev could work, embrace the grind style, outfitch Charles Oliveira, essentially. If you don't know John Fitch, you're not an OG like that, you can go back and watch some of his fights. He fitches the opponents. He might grind on him, control him against the cage, land takedown, stay safe, win a decision. Islam Makhachev, it's going to be a pick that people are going to go nuts about. I know, as I said, half of you will love it, half of you will hate it. For me, I'm calling it lock of the week, minus 160, Islam Makhachev, and new champion. Let's jump to the dog section. If you guys haven't yet, smash the hell out of the like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk some underdogs. Dog number one, it's going to be AJ Dobson. Now, I would say this is a mid-confident dog attack. It's not my favorite. I feel as though it's a decent play value-wise at plus 170. We have to admit, Armen Petrosyan is an incredible kickboxer, and if he can stay standing here, avoiding Dobson's takedown attempts, he could pick Dobson apart with the kickboxing. Now, I think AJ Dobson is going to surprise us with the wrestling skills. I think he's going to look to put Armen Petrosyan on the mat. Decision for AJ Dobson is like a Hail Mary with line, but I actually think Dobson winning a decision is his most likely method of victory. Plus 640 for AJ Dobson by a decision. So maybe consider sprinkling that one down. Dobson money line plus 170 is a great play. Yes, the knockout is a possibility, but I'd say it's low likelihood, which is the reason I'm not really all over it as far as props. I'd rather money line, dog attack, keep it on the safer side. Decision plus 640 for more your Hail Mary with AJ Dobson and Armen Petrosyan. Very intriguing matchup there. I consider it a real competitive fight. And I think AJ Dobson is a very skilled fighter on the way up, still developing, as is Petrosyan. It's going to be interesting to see this matchup. I like Dobson as a dog, though, ultimately. I think he's a good pick. Decent play. Let's keep running up. Next of the dogs, Lucas Almeida over Zabiria Tohugov, plus 130. I think Lucas Almeida is a dangerous striker. He has the range advantage here. He attacks the legs very well. He does have a bit of power in his hands. coming riding high, really, off that Mike Trizano knockout win. He impressed me in that performance. At plus 130, it's a solid line. I do think this fight's going the full 3. Over 2.5 rounds at minus 175, I think is something to consider playing, regardless of the side that you're on. If the Hugov wins, it's probably decision. If Almeida wins, I'd assume decision as well. Decision for Almeida, the prop for that one is plus 225. Not my favorite. I don't love the Hail Mary prop because it's not like wide enough to attack that decision. Ultimately, Lucas Almeida as a money line at plus 130, I feel pretty decent about. Over 2.5, I feel fantastic about. I do think that over 2.5 is a fantastic play to consider. Let's keep running up the next of the dogs. This is going to be a controversial one. It's Sean O'Malley plus 220. The value is great, but this is, to me, the highest risk dog potentially of the week. This is a 50-50 fight. Yes, I understand. I'm going 53% O'Malley, 47% Piotr Jan. I think Sean O'Malley at plus 220. The value's awesome. The possibility is there. Over 2.5 rounds is very likely, minus 210. I think that's extreme confidence. I consider that a high confidence pick. O'Malley by decision, plus 425. I'd be shocked to see O'Malley sleep Piotr Jan. I say he wins the first round, very competitive second round he can win, and I could even see Jan taking that third round. In a 5-round fight, it's a lot easier to favor that Piotr Jan side because of the unknown of O'Malley going longer. Jan is known as a slow starter. He's going to need to fix that. He has not fought a 3-round fight in almost 3 years. O'Malley's bread and butter is these 3-round fights. Ultimately, I'm riding with Sean O'Malley, plus 220 dog. I think it's worth a play. The value is great. Yes, the risk is high, but I'm riding Sugar Show, Team Sugar Show right here, and I think he can pull off the upset and really surprise a lot of people. So Sean O'Malley, good dog in my opinion. Let's talk the dog of the week.
Bilal! Remember the name Muhammad!
Bilal Muhammad plus 115 underdog. I would even consider him a high confidence pick this week. Decision prop for him at plus 195. The over 2.5 is minus 260. Sean Brady is an undefeated contender. And of course, is a hard fight for Bilal. Where do I like Bilal better than Sean Brady? Better straight punches, better body kicks. He definitely has, I think, a better kicking skill set. Better gas tank. In a 5-round fight, I think Bilal is like a very high confidence for me. He's still a confident pick though, for sure. And I think he's still a great underdog. You get plus money on Bilal. It's never a bad idea. He's very experienced. Sean Brady is really good. He throws more hooks from the outside, power shots. He's pretty jacked. But when you see the fight going into the second, into the third, Bilal just constantly bringing the pace. I see Bilal succeeding against the cage. He also is working with Team Khabib, and I think that with Team Khabib in the corner of Bilal, I know Sean Brady said, oh, it's not magic. Khabib's lost as a cornerman. I'll tell you this, for Bilal Muhammad's style, having tips from Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to up his game by at least 20%. I think Bilal is going to look strong in the clinch. I think he's going to control Brady there. I'm not telling you this is the most entertaining fight of the night. Throw some cash down on Bilal Muhammad, and you'll have that sweat for the matchup, and the hype will be there regardless of how much of a back and forth this is. I like Bilal Muhammad to win, plus 115. We're calling him the dog of the week. I think he's going to do it. And I do actually believe Bilal Muhammad is still a legit contender at 170 pounds. Love him as a dog. Bilal Muhammad plus 115. Let's jump to the props/value bet section. I have a couple props that I want to bring up here. Mateusz Gamrot to win by KO over Beneil Dariush, plus 500. There's great value on that line. I do think Dariush gets reckless, could get a little too reckless with Gamrot, and I think he could get caught here, especially with Gamrot chain wrestling him. Even if he doesn't get Dariush down, the constant thought of the takedown, if Dariush isn't having a lot of success, he gets a little frustrated, and his style, his tendency is to sit down and brawl a bit, and he gets sloppy. And let's be honest, Beneil Dariush, he doesn't have great head movement. Mateusz Gamrot could definitely catch him and I think put him out. I'm going Gamrot KO. It's plus 500. An over-under that I really like. Nikita Krylov, Volkan Oezdemir. I think this fight's going longer. Over 2.5 rounds is plus 140. The pick is Krylov, but I do think it's a toss-up matchup. And I think that over 2.5 at plus money is a mistake. I see these guys competitive with one another. And even though Oezdemir known for that finishing power in his hands, even if Krylov gets on top with the wrestling, like I don't see him tapping out Oezdemir. I think it'd be very hard for Oezdemir to sleep Krylov. I think the over is a no-brainer at plus money. Plus 140, over 2.5. I think a very good play. I like that fight a lot too. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. No, not betting on either guy because I do think it's a toss-up. Pick is Krylov, though, I'll tell you guys straight. But that over 2.5 plus money is pretty juicy. Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Gadzi Omar Gadziev over 2.5 rounds at minus 190, I think is a sneaky play that you could throw down on because I do think that fight's going longer and minus 190 is not a terrible line. So I had to bring that one up. And then the next one, I think Mukhmed Muradov and Kyle Barajo is going over a round and a half. It's minus 170. I think Barajo is a little bit of an oversized favorite here at minus 200 because Muradov is a very experienced fighter and at one point was looked at as a future contender, loses one fight to Gerald Mearshart, and now he's being totally written off here against Barajo. He's still live too. Don't have him as a dog pick. Don't love him with that money line attack. But I think that over 1.5, respecting his durability, respecting his submission defense, I think he can survive here. With that GM3 fight, I know he gassed. I know he got choked out in the second round. But I think we could go longer here. Over a round and a half, minus 170, Muradov Barajo. Let's jump to the parlays. If you guys haven't, smash the hell out of that like button. And let's talk parlays. We're going to go value first. I'm going to do dog of the week with lock of the week. Islam Makhachev and Bilal Muhammad plus 235. I do think that's a solid play to attack. I like it a lot personally. Now, if you want to go a little bit more on the wild side, you're looking for juice, you go Islam, Bilal, and then Krylov, Volkan Ozdemir over 2.5 rounds plus 660 for that parlay. If you're not feeling the underdog Bilal side and you don't want to play that over 2.5, you're like, listen, I'm going more on the safety first side with okay value. Islam Makhachev, Corral Rosa, plus 100. Okay play, gives you plus money. I do like that one. Islam Makhachev, Aljamain Sterling, and Corral Rosa, you're sitting at plus 215. I do think that's actually a pretty solid parlay for a 3-fighter one. Corral Rosa, Menon Farrow, Aljamain Sterling, Islam Makhachev, 4-fighter play, plus 375. I'm feeling pretty damn good about that parlay at plus 375. Now, 2 ladies, obviously we talk about the high risk women's MMA. All fight betting is going to be high risk, but women's MMA, inherently, things just go a little weirder sometimes. I still think, though, those are very good plays to have on a parlay. If you want to go more on the crazy side and you're like, yo, I'm looking Hail Marys, I want parlays that give me big return with the highest of risk. Corral Rosa, Manon Farrow, Aljamain Sterling, Islam Makhachev, Bilal Muhammad, Mateusz Gamrot, plus 960 for that one. That's wide as hell. That's super wide. But I could see all of them winning. I see all of them winning. I think plus 960 is worth it to touch, even if you're just going light. And if you want to go to the crazy territory, you go Corral Rosa, Manon Farrow, Aljamain Sterling, Islam Makhachev, Bilal Muhammad, Mateusz Gamrot, Nikita Krylov, Volkan Ozdemir over 2.5 rounds, plus 2,300. That's the Hail Mary parlay of the week. Now, guys, be cautious with your parlays. Keep it on the safer side, but if you want to go crazy, sprinkle them down, go lighter with maybe some Hail Marys. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking as far as the bets are going, as far as what do you think of the lock and the dog of the week? What do you think about my parlays? What parlays are you guys playing? I'm very curious to hear what the people are up to with this UFC 280 card. It's going to be an incredible one. I literally can't wait for it. I will be live for the entire thing, so make sure you guys tune in to the Fight Companion on Saturday. Special 10 a.m. Eastern time start time. This is super early for the mixed martial arts game, especially the UFC, but obviously it's not prime time for people in the States. Fights over in Abu Dhabi, and this is a very international fight card. Cannot wait for it, guys. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't. If you're new, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on. If you really enjoyed the content, make sure to share the video as well. If you guys want to help your boy out, shout out to my bookie. Go over there, use promo code EXPERTS to sign up. It helps me continue to grow this channel, put the money back into it, support us here at MMA Experts, support AJ, your boy, by going over to MyBookie and using promo code EXPERTS. Guys, I appreciate you all so much. You're fantastic. I got much love for each and every one of you. Thank you all for the continued support, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everyone.